one is to address this understanding of why do we need to do risk assessment on a continuous basis. Got it? Hope you all capture this slide already. This is the star button one. Okay, likelihood impact now. Okay, I think we just spoke about just now. So it's the likelihood that the rain will happen, and when the rain happens, what's the impact? The layman example I given you as a studio. Okay, when we do risk assessment, these are the common factors we will always consider: likelihood and impact of the risk event. What is the likelihood of a ransomware? What is the impact of a ransomware? Okay, so these are the two key factors you look at for all risk assessment. Now, how do we perform risk assessment? Now, there are actually many different methods of risk assessment. I think some of you have done risk assessment before, or you've seen other people's risk assessment before. Now, there are many different methods, but concepts are generally quite similar. I would say concepts are generally quite similar. Whether you are doing for IT risk, safety risk, business risk, concept quite similar. Okay. Well, first, of course, you here says this slide number one here. You first need to identify what methods you want to use. You still have a defined methods, although the concept are generally same, but you still need to identify which exact method you want to use. Because after you decide which method already, there will be a framework there with steps. So you just follow the steps. Okay. So example, if you decide to follow ISO 31000. Okay, have you heard about ISO 31000? Anyone heard about ISO 31000? Now, ISO 31000 basically is a risk management standard, risk management. Okay, or rather, it's more like a guidelines. Say, it defines how you perform your risk assessment. It has become one of the de facto foundation risk management framework for all the risk, for all the ISO standards. So many ISO standards, when they talk about their content, they will also talk about risk, right? Okay. Now, what all these standards do is now they all refer to ISO 31000 when they want to talk about risk management foundation. So risk management 31000, I think is also a useful thing you should find out. Okay? Because if you are going to do audit, one of the common thing is to talk about risk. And then when you talk about risk, people will discuss with you, what kind of risk model will you do? You won't go wrong to use ISO 31000. That is the safest bet. Okay. Okay, so first step, you find out what method you use already. Then, okay, so the next few things these are the common things risk identification. Usually, you want to find out what is the risk. Okay, we call it risk identification. Risk identification means the example I given is going to Universal Studio. What is the risk? Must it give one example, right? Rain. Raining is the risk event example. Can you give me a second example? Another example for going to the Universal Studio. What would be another example of a risk? What would be another example of a risk when we go to system? Okay, ticket down. Very good. System ticket down. I like this one. When the system ticketing system is down, you go to the counter, you cannot buy. Okay, cannot buy. But let's try the apps. If the apps one still can work, no problem. Okay, but if the backend system cannot work, see whether you go the online mobile one, you go to the counter, cannot work one. Basically, they cannot sell you tickets. You cannot go into Universal Studio. Okay, so that is a risk. Okay, very good example related to technology. Okay, so we need to start off by asking ourselves what are the risks. We list out the risks, then we do analysis. Now you look at number 3 and number 4. You'll see this common two word, risk analysis and risk evaluation. You will see very commonly when you look at RA. What is the difference between risk analysis and risk evaluation? Okay, of course it's written in the slide there. Okay, now the easiest way to explain this, usually I'll tell people risk analysis is you are looking at the events. Of course, they are looking at events. What is the likelihood that this thing will happen? Okay, usually we will say high, low, this kind of thing. Okay, and then what is the impact? Or the impact is like Razid will say, cannot play these things. Will suffer losses. All this. Okay, that is called the impact. So we are looking at all these things. This is called risk, and we are analyzing it. Now, when we look at evaluation, we are going one step more. So you need to always do analysis first, then evaluate. Now, what are we evaluating? We evaluate the outcome of the analysis against something, against a standard, against a reference, against a accepted risk tolerance. Again, we talk about risk tolerance. So now, I go back to the discussion that Razid and me have a risk different tolerance. Okay? Now, we are exposed to the same environment. The rain comes, you rain for him, you rain for me, same the sky is the same for us. Alright? So when we go there, we do the risk analysis. Our analysis will be the same. Razid's analysis and my risk analysis will be the same, likely. Okay? More like the likelihood of it happening. Okay, the impact is the same, cannot think right, is the same, right? Alright? But the evaluation for me and him will be different. So this is where our difference is. His evaluation is, rain, I cannot take a right. Going to affect my experience. My $10, my $100 is not worth it. That is his evaluation. Okay? My evaluation is, yes, it's rain, but it's not going to affect my experience because I want to be in the rain. Okay, so my measurement, my standard reference is different. So this is the evaluation part. We are evaluating what we analyzed earlier against something else, against a risk tolerance, against the expectations of what we want. That's risk evaluation. Then of course there's actually another one which is not inside here, which is called the risk treatment. So risk treatment is not part of risk assessment. It's usually considered a different process. We need to complete the risk assessment first. Then based on that, we prioritize what we want to do, right? One of the risk treatment is, example Razid was saying, okay, so rain, right? You say take umbrella, take raincoat. That is the mitigation, risk mitigation. So that comes next. Okay, after this risk assessment is done, we will do the risk treatment. We will bring raincoat, we will bring umbrella, all this stuff. Okay, so there are some strategies. We will look at the strategies on how to tackle risk treatment in the okay. So this will give you an overview of how to do a risk assessment. In the ISO 31000, it's quite similar to here. There are three main steps. In ISO 31000, there are three main steps. Is shown here, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Okay. Risk identification, risk analysis, and risk evaluation. These are the three main steps of risk assessment stated in ISO 31000. Any other risk assessment method you may see may be somewhere around something like that one. They may use 4-step, 5-step, but the concept is almost the same. So let's look at a few more examples of this risk, specifically in terms of our business environment, IT. Track actors, basically these are threats. These are examples. Internal insider threats. Okay, it could be external. External means basically outside, they are not the employees. Criminal. Okay, it could be organized crime. It can be even lecturer. Okay. all these examples, power failure. Just now you all talk about system failure, right? Okay, and that could be caused by power failure. There's no power, so the system goes down. So these are some example, common threats. Okay, let's look at this triangle here. Now in the center, you will see that towards risk scenarios. Now usually when we do risk assessment, we want to come up with a risk scenario. It's not enough. It's not enough to say ransomware attack. It's not enough to say there's a virus. Okay, when we talk about threats, it's not enough to just say that. We want to know specific scenario. When you say ransomware, when we say phishing, how is it done? Oh, the threat actor, they will send a phishing email. The phishing email will say that you are a lucky winner. Okay, you have just won a Toto of $1 million. So in order to claim your $1 million, you need to click this link to provide your details. So this is the scenario. Then you click already, you go to a website. Our website will ask you to key information. Once you key the information already, they steal your personal data already. Okay, so this is a scenario like that. Okay, so first I tell you just phishing. So if you're thinking phishing, how is phishing done? Okay. So what I have just told you is a scenario. So when we do risk assessment, one good practice is to come up with this risk scenario to help us understand the risk better. So how do you develop a risk scenario then? There is a method here. First, we look at what is the asset. Okay, what is the asset? Anyone knows what is the meaning of assets? Anyone want to try? What is assets? Maybe we use, for example, in office, what do you think is some of the assets? Something you own. Okay, something you own. Okay, good. This one. Now, from the financial point of view, absolutely. So the finance side will capture, right? Okay, all the assets, right? Assets and liabilities, but so they capture all these assets, right? So anything that you own, okay. Now, but when we come to risk assessment, we actually deep dive a bit more. What are the important assets? Okay, now I ask you the next question. Okay, there are a lot of assets. What are the important assets? Valuables. Okay, now something that is valuable. Okay, let me ask this. Let's say in your office, you are a tech company. Wow, your tech company bought this very expensive table because the CEO go some other country bought this very nice table. This table costs $10,000. Fly into Singapore, then put it inside the office. Okay. Now, is this $10,000 table a very important asset to your organization? Is it a critical asset? This table. Yours is a tech company. This is a tech company. This tech company develop apps. They sell apps. This $10,000 table is not. Okay, Lam say it's not. Okay, it's valuable. It's valuable. The table is expensive. There are many things that is valuable. Actually, your table, chair. You cannot say chair not valuable. This time, some of you think sit. Some of this gaming chair. $800, $1,000 on the chair. It's expensive. No, it could be valuable. No, you can see Lam sitting a gaming chair. I think it could be very expensive. No. So gaming chair, of course, this day also got cheaper one, 300 also can. No? But generally, gaming chair are more expensive than those normal chair. So they are also valuable. But when we look at risk, we usually ask ourselves, when we say assets, assets refers to items, things that your company owns. If those items that is been damaged or lost will have a major impact to the running of the business. Okay? So if we use the example of the expensive table, if the table is stolen, do you think you will have a serious impact to the running of business? No, right? Go down cafeteria, go Starbucks, then continue the meeting or go IKEA, order another table can come on. Of course, you lost the table, yes, but it will not have a debilitating impact to your business. That means your business can still run, right? Okay. Now, versus now I tell you payroll system. You see here payroll system. Now, but payroll system, if you churn out the calculation of your pay, maybe depending on the number of hours you work, then you can know how much to pay you, right? So, example, today is 19th. Our payday is on the 21st, 2 days later. Suddenly, our payroll system go down. For the next 2 days, the system cannot come out. So, on the 21st of July, let's say I'm a CFO, you are all the employees of this company. Dear staff, I'd like to announce that the payroll system has some problem. Very unfortunately, it has gone down for 2 days. I think we need another 1 week to restore the system now. So I'm sorry to say your pay will be delayed for another 7 days. My apologies. So please take care. So use your whatever fund to settle here. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so how do you all feel? All dear employees. Okay or not? Acceptable this? Are you happy or not? You happy with it? Okay, can okay, no, not happy. Okay, no you shake. No. Okay. But yes, okay or not? I already has given you my explanation, not my fault. The system screw up. Vendor didn't do a proper job. So the payroll system go down. So need 1 week. I seek your understanding. But yes. Okay? Please go and get money from your mother.
No understanding.
It's unacceptable. Let's say if some people have their rent due like the next day or the following day, then they are unable to pay and problems may arise.
Okay. Is any one of you kind enough to say it's okay? Any one of you is understanding enough to please give me the support as the CFO of this company? I seek your understanding. I also don't want this to happen. Is it okay? Anyone?
No lah, the company must give some kind of compensation.
Here like that. Yeah, exactly. Very good. Okay, so here I think you have shared your sentiments, how you feel about this pay thing, right? Okay, so this is exactly then based on this discussion, we can determine that the payroll system is very critical to the business. Okay, because the failure of this system is going to have an impact, serious impact. So you all cannot get your pay. I think most of you not happy. Okay, when you're not happy, affect on morale. You do your work maybe a bit substandard. Maybe you will not turn up for work. So it will affect the business. Okay, so compare this payroll system to the table. Okay. Now, all these are assets that belong to the company, but there are different criticality. So that's one of the things we look at. Whether is it critical or not critical. Okay. So when we look at risk assessment, one of the things we always look for is a critical system. So we identify what are the critical systems first. So in this case, as example, we say a payroll system. Now next we ask ourselves, is there a vulnerability? Okay, what is vulnerability? Anyone know what is the meaning of vulnerability? In your own words, what is a vulnerability? Prone to risk. Okay. Prone to risk. Okay. Prone to risk. Vulnerability. Can say that, yeah. Prone to risk. Weakness. Yes. Weakness. Right. Yeah. So usually we say vulnerability are weaknesses, gaps, shortcomings. These are the number. Okay. Now, to elaborate further, we will also explain that vulnerabilities are basically weaknesses that can be exploited. weaknesses that can be exploited. To make you now think harder, right? Now, I use a very visible example. Later on, you go for lunch, okay, you go and walk out, maybe you walk past your school. I don't know whether you're nearby there to school or what, or you walk past anywhere that got fencing one. Okay, you know the fencing, right? The school fence, you know, right? Fence, the green color. Now, if the fence got one hole there, one hole, this hole, can you climb it and then go into the school? Can or not? Can, right? Is it a weakness? It's a weakness, right? You can see, right? You can climb in, right? So it's a weakness that can be exploited, correct? Correct, agree, Now I give you another scenario. Walking along the same road, there's a stretch of cameras there protecting the school. The camera all spoiled. All spoiled already because there's a lightning strike. Spoiled all the cameras there. All the CCTV cameras spoiled. Okay, spoiled already. So you walk past there. Is the spoiled camera a vulnerability? It's actually still a vulnerability, but can you easily exploit it? Why cannot? Why you cannot exploit that? The spy camera, why you cannot exploit that weakness?
I think you need to jump over the gate or something.
Okay, so the gate is another thing. Yeah, you're right. So there's action in that thing. Let's say I want to leverage this weakness, the camera spoiler. Is it easy for me to exploit this camera? I know this camera spoiler. My question to you is, do you know the camera spoiler?
We may not know that it's
You know, right?
Yeah.
Unless of course the lightning boom, then the smoke come out from the camera, you can see lah, correct? Okay, but if other than that you walk past any camera, the camera is offline, the camera spoil, very difficult to see, right? You cannot see it. So I'm trying to contrast these two examples. A camera that's spoiled and a fence in the hole. Okay, one is very visible, one is not visible at all. Okay, so the vulnerability, we also look at it like, okay, weaknesses that can be easily exploited. So we usually focus on vulnerabilities like the hole in the fence. The camera, yes, there is still some form of weakness there, but it's not as serious because I cannot see it. Okay, so later I give you some factors to help you analyze the vulnerability. Okay. So now, just remember vulnerability are weaknesses that can be exploited. So example here is excessive access rights granted to you. Now, you may be working for a company, they have given you an access account. When you log in into your account, let's say your Windows Explorer, you go to OneDrive, you're supposed to be seeing your department, IT department folder. Then suddenly, how come I can see payroll department? So Michelle, if you start your IT department, suddenly you see finance, payroll department, you can see all the pay slip. What will you do?
Keep it to myself. Keep the information to myself. Important.
You keep quiet, right?
Yeah.
Keep quiet, right? You won't go and, hey, you go and call IT, how come I got access to this? Can you remove the access? Will you?
I probably won't. I mean, it's not my fault that I'm given the access. So if if it's not right, then IT should on their own. I will probably report it.
You report it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a very good employee. Fantastic. Now I think okay, if you know this is not something you're not supposed to see, you can make the decision. But I think that's good. But many a times you may not be aware, whether should you see or not see, right? Sometimes you log in, you also don't know it. Because that's the default given to you. You're also not sure whether actually by right should you have access. So sometimes we just ignorant, we just ignore it. But all these are basically risks when we are given access rights. Because if you are given more rights, you can actually do wonders with that. For the adventurous one, for people adventurous one, they click, maybe they will find some very sensitive information and they may leverage on that information. It is a risk to the company. Okay. come pay higher? Yeah, exactly. That one very sensitive. You can see other people pay. How come my colleague same rank as me pay higher than me? Hey, cannot lah. Okay. So this concern. This is a vulnerability. Even access rights. Okay. Then next is the threats. Threat is what is a threat event? That means the bad guy what they want to do. Now, even if you have got this vulnerability, like the case just now we talk about Michelle, given access, right? If she don't do anything, no problem. There's a weakness, but she don't do anything. But if she decided to do something, now she got access to a lot of personal data. She extract the data and then she sell it away. So that is a threat event. Okay. So for a risk to happen, in this case, what we are saying here, this triangle, these three things need to be there. You need to have these three elements for the risk to happen. If you remove any one of these, then basically it can eliminate the risk. So you can have vulnerability, you can have threat, but there's no asset there. There's no risk. You see? So even I have a vulnerability, but there's no intention that the risk is not there. Okay? So when we come up with a risk scenario, we need to come up with a scenario that address these three elements. So example, you can read in the center, unauthorized employee. Okay, so this guy he will make unauthorized access. This is the threat. Okay, with excessive access rights. So this is the vulnerability because of poor configurations. Okay. Then he access to all the staff salary in the payroll system. So this is assets. So this one way we derive our risk scenario. Okay, so don't worry, you don't need to write a risk scenario. Okay, but this is just for your information, how we come up with a risk scenario, how the risk assessment, the risk assessor go and do up the risk scenario. Okay, so to deep dive a bit more to risk assessment, how we do calculation derive is based on likelihood of impact. It means we give some numbers, 1 to 5, 1 to 10, 1 be the least likely, 5 means more likely, then impact, the higher number you give means the higher impact. Then we multiply by the number. Let's say the likelihood is 3, then the impact is 5. 3 times 5 is equal to 3 times 5 is equal to 15, right? So that will be a risk. Then so each of these is for a risk event. You will do a table with maybe 10. So you will have like 10 of this calculation. 15, maybe got 10, 20, all the different number. Now, the one that has the highest score, is the one with highest risk. The one with the lowest score, of course, is the lowest risk among these. Now, this numbering, usually all these risk assessment, we have two techniques. One is called qualitative, one is called quantitative. When you use all these numbers, when you look about what is the losses is $100,000, 10 people will die, all this numerical is called quantitative risk assessment. So what is qualitative risk assessment? Anyone knows? What is qualitative? Quantitative means number. So what is qualitative? Okay, my mouse pointing qualitative. Anyone heard about this qualitative risk assessment before? Oh, okay, so Lisa put qualitative. Okay, so quantitative is equal to number. Should be quantitative should be the one that is equal to numbers. But qualitative, what should it be?
Scale of 1 to 5, something like that.
When you see numbers that is used inside the risk assessment, usually that is called quantitative risk assessment. Very good. Yao Heng. Okay, descriptions. Yes. Yeah, facility, confirm got do risk assessment before. Okay, so when we say qualitative, qualitative usually are subjective lah. So we use description. Okay, description example: low risk, medium risk, high risk. This is called descriptive. Then you can also use things like very low, medium, very high. All these are descriptive. Okay. Generally, qualitative risk assessment is easier to do lah. You use all these words because it's a bit subjective, big lah. As quantitative, you have to be a bit more accurate. Why you say 5, 10, or how do you come up with this number? How do you know that the loss is $100,000? You got to find out more things. That's why quantitative a bit more work to do lah. Then you need to look at this table. Now on this table, after you fill out the numbers, like this one impact likelihood, right? You fill out, select already. Let's say example, impact is moderate, and then the likelihood is possible, and that means your overall risk is medium. Okay. Low, all these you should refer to a table like this to help you determine your risk level. Okay, so let's look at likelihood. Just now I talked about how do you determine. There are 3 things to help you to determine the likelihood of an event. Okay. There are other methods. Okay. These are just some of the examples. Now you want to know how likely that this event can happen. Example, ransomware, or there's attack, malware attack, or DDoS. Okay, any of these risk events, right? We ask ourselves, how easy is this vulnerability discovered? Is it widely posted on the internet? Was it announced? Sometimes the CSA, some of these problem they announce it in the news. It means the whole world know. If you don't say yes, okay, no. If you announce that, it means the whole world know, right? Discoverability. Can it be easily discovered? Okay. If everybody know, then this is a risk. Then exploitable. Is it easily exploitable or not? Okay. How easy is it? Is it just anybody can go in, or you still need some skills? Now I tell you, if there's a vulnerability in a website, I say the password there, there's a loophole, there's a bug in it. Okay, NTUC website bug. Now I tell you, okay, the website link I tell you already. Can you all go in? Will you all be able to hack it? Not so, no, unless you got the skills, right? Okay, exploitability. But if now I tell you, hey, there's this particular web link of Google Drive, the person never put password. You can go inside, see all the personal data. Is this easy to exploit? I give you the link. Then I just click open only. So that is the exploitability. How easy is it to exploit? So some are very easy, some are difficult. Then reproducibility. Is it easy to reproduce? Meaning, I send that link just now. I told you the link. Right? I send to 15 of you. Every one of you also can go in, right? Click only go in. So very easy to reproduce. So compared to exploitability, now, even though I may have the skill to exploit it, go inside one time, but the moment I go inside one time, I click out, I want to go inside again, it's not easy because I still need to do a lot of configuration on this thing. So the reproducibility is not so easy. Okay, so we use these 3 things to help us come up with some determination. You can use scoring also actually. You can give a score to each of these. You come up with an average, then this will give you an over score for the likelihood of something that the event that can happen. Okay. Now, how do you remember this? I call this red flag. Red flag. Why is it red flag? Anybody know why I call it red flag? Look for the red flag. Why is it red flag? Because if you notice, ED. Like, okay, reproducibility is R, exploitability is E, discoverability is D lah. So red flag lah. That's one easy way to remember lah. It won't be tested lah, this one, but it's something useful to help you remember. Okay, determine likelihood. Now this is another descriptive way to help you to understand likelihood. Okay, just now you saw the range, right? 1 to 5. Okay, 1 means is rarely will happen. 5 very likely to happen the event. Okay, so usually we use all these descriptive words to help us understand. 3 means what? Oh, here there's some explanation. Okay. Then impact. Okay, impact. This one was start. So take note of this like so this one talk about impact. Okay.
Yeah.
Now how do you measure impact? We use CIA, confidentiality of the information. Can it be stolen? People can access to it. Integrity. Can people change the data? Example, the result. This one you're attending this course if you change the result then there's the integrity issue Then availability. Is the website available? If your website you go in, you cannot get in, right? Like for example, Shopee website, you cannot go in, right? Then people won't want to buy things already. Is there impact to that or not? When there's a DDoS attack, okay, denial of service. So we use CIA. Okay. Now CIA is also one of fundamental information security principle. In other modules later on, I think maybe your CISA, other modules, you will likely see that it may also mention CIA as a fundamental concept in information security. Okay, so we use CIA to help us determine the impact here. So for each of these, you can also give a score 1 to 5, 1 to 10. Okay, then you get average of this score, it determine the impact. Okay, so take note of this slide. What is the, how do you determine the impact? Okay, capture already this slide. Okay, so this is another one descriptive description. Impact of negligible 1. Okay, what's negligible and very severe? Here you say very severe means leak information could lead to impact to national security. Okay, so this is just one example of the description. You may use different one for possibility. Some company they develop their own one. Then you just follow. Okay. If not, then you can adopt some of these available references standards. You can easily find many of these. Like in CISA, let's say you're going to study CISA, they will give you many references, guidelines that ISACA has developed. Okay, response. Now, earlier on, I talked about risk assessment. Risk assessment, there's 3 steps. Risk identification, risk analysis, risk evaluation. Remember the 3 steps. After you've done that, the next thing you need to do is to do risk treatment. Remember I said that risk treatment. So risk treatment is actually also risk response. Now, how do you do risk response? Now we talk about the rain. The rain may happen. So Razid is already thinking about umbrella and raincoat already. Okay. Now, the choice of his raincoat and umbrella actually fall into one of these risk response strategy. These are what we call risk response strategy. Okay, so you can take a quick look. Risk avoidance, risk transfer, risk reduction, and risk offset. Risk avoid means I want to avoid this thing altogether. Okay. Risk transfer means I transfer the risk to another party. For example, buy insurance. Risk reduce is how do I reduce this risk as much as I can. Okay, risk asset means okay lah, let's accept lah. I'm not going to do anything. Okay. Now the last one I will explain later on. Okay. Now, so in the case of example, the risk, the umbrella and raincoat which one do you think is the risk strategy? The first 4. Which one is it?
Risk reduce.
Yes, fantastic. Risk reduce. Yeah. So when we use umbrella, okay, we are reducing the risk of it. The rain is still there. we will still go in. You will happen, you still happen there. Okay? So unlike risk avoidance means I totally avoid this from happening. How to avoid? Maybe I don't go. I don't go. Risk transfer means you buy insurance. Insurance could be in a way, I don't know whether some of these Universal Studio they got this type of insurance or not. Okay? But I know cruise have because I recently went to cruise. Okay? The recent holiday I went to cruise. Now when you buy a cruise ticket, they actually ask you to buy insurance. Okay? Buy insurance for what? You know what insurance is? Anyone of you have gone to cruise recently? They ask you to buy insurance. The insurance is not to protect you from injury, no. Okay. You know what insurance they ask you to buy? No? Nobody gone to cruise recently. I think this thing has been in place for the last 1 2 I think so during COVID days. Yes, fantastic. Cover cancellation. Yeah. Because actually I think it was a rise from the COVID days. The cruise operator go bankrupt, so a lot of people are stuck there. So now they are asking people to go and buy all this insurance in case the company go bankrupt. Because many people will buy some of this ticket way ahead, half a year ahead, 9 months to 1 year ahead. They buy the ticket so far ahead. So anything can happen during this period. Okay, so now we are going for cruise, right? You are supposed to be doing something enjoyable. So what is the risk that you are not able to go? The risk that you are not able to go could be arising from the company gone bankrupt. Well, how do you mitigate this risk, right? So now we come to risk assessment, right? We've done the risk assessment. Now we come to this risk. How do we mitigate the risk that the company will go bankrupt? Risk transfer. Okay, we buy insurance. So this is a strategy. Okay, so risk reduction is how we talk about this. Take umbrella, all these things mentioned. Okay, risk asset, we just take it we just buy the ticket, we just go we accept it rain, no choice we accept the impact. That means you go there, potentially some of the rights you know take wrong. You know there is this risk, but you still want to go ahead. Ultimately, you make that decision. So these are the 4 common risk strategy. The last one is risk increase. Actually, risk increase is more for opportunity. Okay, when there's an opportunity, example, now you know there's one opportunity. Got business opportunity, I share with you. See anyone want to do. Now, you know what is happening in the next few months? You know about the weather? The weather is getting bad, right? Alright? So, when weather get back, what is in demand? Thing right, your breathing right, N95, your air purifier at home. In fact, now the demand is already going up already, okay? Because it's already anticipated that there is this demand. Now, if you are, example, selling N95, your retail shop, you got, let's say, 5 cartons now. So, you know that the next 6 months, there is going to be this haze. You want to make money, right? Because there will be a lot of demand. Now I only got 5 boxes. Let's order 100 boxes. Wow. Because I think there's a lot of demand, a lot of people buy 100 boxes. I'm going to make a lot of money. Alright. So I risk the increase. But why is it called risk increase? What if the haze doesn't happen? I buy 100 boxes. What if the haze doesn't come? Then 100 boxes cannot sell already. You see the point? Okay. So when we take that risk increase, we are trying to read on the possibility of making more money, okay, because there could be a demand. But there could also be a case where the haze don't come. Although they say the chances is very high. We do the risk assessment, likelihood very high. So we make that decision to increase it. Okay. So normally, when we talk about risk assessment here, our audit, we focus on the threat side, the negative side, the threat rather than opportunity. So the last one talk about opportunity. Okay, so when we talk about threat, we focus first four. Okay, avoidance, transfer, reduce, and accept. So this one important slide or star. This picture, this slide. Okay, so this is the table when you put everything together. Remember I talked about risk identification, risk assessment. Okay, so you put your risk event, then owner, you should typically find out who is the risk owner, who owns this risk. Okay, the threat, the likelihood. That's how we saw the example, right? Impact, then come up with risk level. Now you may want to put in what are the existing controls. What have you put in place existingly? Okay, and the treatment, the risk response, treatment plan, what is your action plan to execute it. Now, the last one here, residual risk. What is residual risk? Anyone know what is residual risk? What is residual risk? You all can see on the screen, right? The mouse here. On the right hand side here, there's these two words called residual risk. Any idea? The remaining risk, thanks. Okay, so Michelle wrote there remaining risk. It means just now Razid talk about bringing umbrella. You raise the umbrella or raincoat. Yeah, you go bring this but it still may get wet, correct? Because the rain can be very heavy. So there is still a risk that it may still get wet. Even though you get umbrella, it still can get wet. And the floor could be flooded. So your shoe can get wet. So that's the residual risk. Okay, the remaining risk that okay, you still have even after you put in. Okay, let's stop here. Okay, yeah, so I cover quite a lot of things regarding risk assessment already, and just want to take a pause here because I see the time is almost 12:30. Okay, I think I better continue the next segment after the lunch lah. Okay, before I go for lunch, any questions? Yeah, any questions? What covered? Okay. If not, then I need all of you, those who are not in front of cameras, I need to take a picture now. Remember, I need to take 4 pictures. Okay, two in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. Hey, I got this what cute doggy. I need to see your face. Okay, can you remove your picture, doggy?
Sorry. Can you see me?
8, 10. Who's not around? Is someone missing? See. Someone drop off. And what? One of you drop off. Now there's only 16 of you. Okay, never mind. I take all of you first. Ghazali. Where's Ghazali? Okay. Okay. Moment. Okay, I got the picture. Let's come back at 1:30. Okay, you can proceed for your lunch. Okay, be back at 1:30. I see you.
Okay, thank you.